And your career was a success because you kept Will Smith's wife's name out your mouth.
Yeah. No, I said that's the blueprint.
That's
the blueprint.
for doing it.
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse.
It was just really, really hard. And they would have to. There was one time when I was supposed to be running down some steps.
Y'all won't believe what Eddie Murphy just spilled about Will Smith and Jim Carrey. This tea is piping hot, and trust me, the reason behind Will's fear of Jim is absolutely nothing like what you'd expect.
So I open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne having with Will. Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up.
Listen up, because this isn't just about Jim's crazy faces or his wild comedy routines. No, no, no. This goes way deeper and gets super personal. You're gonna want to sit down for this one.
Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
So what's the real story here? What does Jim Carrey know that's got Will Smith constantly looking over his shoulder? Is there some major beef we never knew about? Well, hold on to your seats because Eddie Murphy just dropped a truth bomb that'll shake your world. He exposed how Hollywood's been playing dirty games with black actors for years. And when I say dirty, I mean dirty. Eddie didn't hold back one bit. He straight up called out the industry for deliberately keeping black actors divided instead of united. Can you believe the nerve? And here's the really heartbreaking part. Eddie says this toxic mess is being passed down like some twisted inheritance to the next generation of actors. It's making the divide in the black community even deeper. It just makes my blood boil.
Hey Ron, they the ones going. I ain't say I mean, I ain't in it. Huh? What sucks? Reaganomics sucks? Or tell us something we don't know.
Now get this. My sources deep in the Hollywood inner circle say this tension between Will and Jim has been simmering for years. And honey, it's not just about their personalities clashing. This drama goes so much deeper. Word is, Will absolutely can't stand how unpredictable Jim is. Unlike most celebrities who play it safe, you know who you are, Jim Carrey is like this loose cannon who couldn't care less about Hollywood politics or staying in anyone's good books. From calling out industry hypocrisy to throwing major shade at award shows, Jim keeps everyone on their toes.
Show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track.
But wait, it gets even juicier. What really got under Will's skin? Well, insiders are spilling that it all started when Jim went after Will about that infamous 2022 Oscar slap. Remember when Jim totally dragged the Academy for giving Will a standing ovation after that incident? He basically said Hollywood had lost its moral compass. Ouch. And let me tell you, Will was not happy about being thrown under the bus like that. The tension, it went through the roof after this public takedown. Some say Will felt completely betrayed, especially since he thought they were actually friends before all this drama.
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse.
And hold on to your hats because this next part is absolutely scandalous. There's this juicy rumor floating around that back in the 90s, Jim Carrey auditioned for a role that Will was dying to get. And guess what? Jim absolutely nailed it. Will was apparently fuming, like steam coming out of his ears furious. Some insiders are saying Will's been secretly holding on to this grudge ever since, always seeing Jim as this rival who effortlessly steals the spotlight without even trying.
And depression is your body saying, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created.
Now, Eddie just dropped this bombshell about what really makes Will nervous about Jim, and it's not just his talent. It's how absolutely fearless Jim is. He says and does things that would make most celebrities break out in a cold sweat. And for someone like Will, who's obsessed with keeping his image squeaky clean, Jim's unpredictability is like their worst nightmare come true. The word on the street? Will's terrified that if Jim ever decided to spill Hollywood secrets or expose certain skeletons in closets, careers would crumble faster than a house of cards.
For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile.
OMG, and this is where it gets really intense. Jim never ever holds back when calling Hollywood out for being spineless and losing its edge. And apparently this made him even more suspicious about Will's rise to fame. Like, was Will's success really just about talent, or was there something darker going on? Jim seems to think if it weren't for Will's protection, he should have been kicked out of the Oscars right after that slap.
You do not have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said word.
So when King brought up how Chris Rock didn't get the police involved, Jim was like, please. He only stayed quiet because he didn't want the trouble. The way he said it?
He doesn't want the hassle. I'd announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous.
And this is where everyone's mind started racing. What kind of trouble are we talking about here? People are whispering that Chris didn't sue Will because of all this mysterious power Will supposedly has in Hollywood. And honey, the rumors about how he got that power? Scandalous. We're talking about alleged rituals and certain activities that would make your jaw drop. Remember what Jaguar Wright said?
They're both guys do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship.
But here's the thing. If it was just Jaguar Wright saying all this, maybe we could brush it off. But guess who else came forward with even more shocking details? Will's former assistant and friend, BW. The tea just keeps getting hotter.
Saw that I walked in on.
Who'd you walk in on?
Him and Dwayne Martin.
Okay.
Hollywood is the hurry up and wait game.
Could this be why Jada's keeping her distance? Speaking of which, did you hear the bombshell Jada just dropped? She went on NBC News and The Today Show to promote her new memoir, Worthy, and spilled that she and Will have been living separately since 2016. Like what? They've been putting on this united front all this time, but behind closed doors? Totally different story. And let me tell you about this crazy drama from the 2016 Oscars. So Chris Rock absolutely roasted Jada in his monologue, and here's the tea. Jada had actually gone to Chris asking him to step down from hosting because Will didn't get nominated for his role in Concussion. Can you believe the nerve?
Jada's mad, her man, Will, was not nominated. I get it, tell the truth, I get it. You get mad, said it's not fair.
So Jada and Will decided to boycott the whole ceremony along with a bunch of other celebs because of the hashtag #OscarsSoWhite controversy. But Chris, he wasn't having any of it. He went right ahead and hosted anyway, throwing the shadiest shade at Jada. Jada boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited. And then he went for Will too, saying, it's not fair that Will was this good and didn't get nominated. It's also not fair that Will was paid $220 million for Wild Wild West. The drama. But wait, there's more. Jada came out later saying they actually sorted it all out with a phone call and mutual apologies. She was like, I totally get it now. Chris was under so much pressure. She admitted she should have called him and been like, hey, are you okay? Even though I'm speaking out about the Oscars, I wish you the best. How convenient, right? And apparently, Chris apologized too, and everything was supposed to be fine between them until 2022 happened. Now, here's where it gets super interesting. Right after the infamous slap, Will apologized too, and people started whispering, is this all happening because of Will's mysterious Hollywood power? One person online was like, if this didn't happen, I wouldn't even know about Oscar today. But hold on to your seats because this gets even juicier. After all that 2016 drama, guess what? Chris Rock actually tried to ask Jada out. According to Jada, every summer there'd be these rumors about her and Will getting divorced. And Chris, thinking they were actually splitting up, called her up like, hey, I'd love to take you out. Can you even? Jada was totally confused, like, what do you mean? And Chris was all, aren't you and Will getting divorced? When Jada told him it was just rumors, he apparently apologized like crazy. But here's the real tea. During that exact same year, Jada and Will weren't even living together. And this just came out recently when Jada spilled all the beans herself. Now everyone's wondering if something was actually going on between her and Chris during that time.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was...
Oh my goodness. Jada just dropped this bomb in an interview with Hoda Kotb. She and Will have been living completely separate lives since 2016, like totally separate. They got married back in '97, and sure, we knew they had their ups and downs. But this is next level. And get this, while it's not technically a divorce on paper, Hoda straight up said it's basically a divorce in everything but the legal stuff, and Jada was like, yup, they're not even living together anymore. When asked why they kept it all hush-hush, Jada said they weren't ready and were still trying to figure out how to be partners and how to tell everyone. Of course, fans jumped right on this, thinking it had something to do with her getting cozy with Chris, especially since she claimed everything was fixed with just one phone call. One person wrote, please don't look to others as couple couple's goals. You don't know why they got together. You don't know what they go through. And another one just went off. This is straight up. She gets off on dragging Will's name through the mud and won't leave him alone. It's actually disgusting. She is so evil. But honey, the evidence suggests something completely different, and it has nothing to do with Chris at all. Some sources are saying their relationship fell apart because of Will's alleged affairs with both men and women.
Yeah.
And we decided.
I was done with your.
Kick me to the curb.
I was done with you.
Like, having an unconventional family is one thing, but when there are rumors flying around about your husband having secret relationships, that's a whole other level of drama. And it looks like the lady of the house has finally decided to tell all.
It was not a divorce on paper,
right,
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now.
Yes.
Let's take it back, way back, to 6 degrees of separation. Will played this totally charming con artist, but here's the scandal. There was supposed to be this kissing scene between Will and Anthony Michael Hall that mysteriously got cut from the final version. People started talking. Was Will trying to avoid the kiss to keep people from questioning his sexuality? These rumors just won't die, and the truth? Still a mystery.
That Will Smith is and that they do this, and that.
And get this, in 2020, Will totally contradicted himself. After years of saying he didn't fully commit to the role, he suddenly claimed he went full method acting for 6 degrees of separation. Like, make up your mind, Will.
You train your mind through blocking out Will and only living as the character.
OMG, and now Tisha Campbell has entered the chat with some piping hot tea. She's claiming Will Smith was getting down and dirty with her ex-husband, Dwayne Martin. She took to Instagram with this super shady post about how the truth always comes out no matter how many lies someone tells. And when one of her fans was like, thank you, even though they lie in the end, Tisha responded with, and you're right, they will lie till the end. But here's the tea. She wrote Will in all caps. People immediately connected the dots, thinking she was talking about Will and Jada. And let's not forget, Dwayne Martin is supposedly one of Will's besties. But wait, there's more. YouTuber Trisha Piss came out swinging with some seriously wild allegations about Will supposedly harming her male dancers. She went off saying, how about worry about your daughter being in bed at 13 with her 20-year-old boyfriend? How about worry about your cheating husband one of my male dancers when they didn't want to?
How about worry about your cheating husband my male dancers, when they didn't want to? How about talk about that?
But hold on to your wigs because this rabbit hole goes even deeper. Apparently, Will might have been following in the footsteps of none other than Quincy Jones. For those who don't know, Quincy is this legendary producer who's worked with everyone from Frank Sinatra to Michael Jackson. But honey, that's not all he's known for. There have been whispers about his preferences for years, and recent tea suggests there might be some truth to those rumors.
My first musical memories were I wanted to be a gangster until I was 11. Coming from Chicago in the 30s.
The latest gossip is spilling all the tea about Quincy Jones possibly not being as straight as everyone thought. And get this, there are shocking claims that he's been influencing the sexual preferences of some major stars, including Will Smith and Tupac. Remember that absolutely wild interview with Tupac? It was a total game changer when he spilled the beans about Quincy's questionable behavior.
Yeah, I think them rumors about Quincy Jones and all that crazy stuff about Pop was definitely rumor.
Tupac allegedly revealed that Quincy made some very inappropriate suggestions about certain intimate activities. But here's where it gets super sketchy. That interview that supposedly went viral? It mysteriously vanished from the internet without a trace. And Napoleon, who was supposedly tight with Tupac, quickly jumped in to defend Quincy and shut down all the gossip. Like, that's not suspicious at all.
Yeah, I think them rumors about Quincy Jones and all that crazy stuff about Pac was definitely rumors. Pac was about to marry his daughter.
And just when you thought it couldn't get any more scandalous, there are rumors flying around about Jada and Will hosting some very interesting gatherings at their house with younger men. Jaguar Wright spilled some major tea, claiming she's seen young men leaving their house looking absolutely shook. And let's talk about Will's relationship with Jaden because, yikes. Some people see Will kissing Jaden on the cheek as normal dad stuff, but others think their bond is getting a little too close for comfort. Will's been caught kissing Jaden on the lips several times, and while some people are like, it's just father-son love, Zrenya, others are starting to side-eye the whole situation.
That we saw on Red Table Talk, oh, that was G. That was G-rated. That was G-rated shit.
What I will say that I do know about the Smiths.
The public's reaction to Will's super affectionate behavior with Jaden got so intense that even his fans started feeling uncomfortable. People were calling him out for making Jaden visibly uncomfortable with all the kissing, but Will just kept denying there was anything wrong with it. One person went off in the comments, "That's disgusting. No one kisses their kids on the mouth like that, especially when the kids are teenagers. I can't believe people are cheering this kind of behavior." Another person didn't hold back. "This is definitely CA, and there is always a negative impact on the child when adults do certain things. They should try to not just think about themselves alone, but the impact of their actions on their children." And the tea just keeps getting hotter. These wild rumors about Will and Jada's house parties are absolutely scandalous. According to the ever-outspoken Jaguar Wright, these aren't your average Hollywood gatherings. They're pushing some serious boundaries. Some people are saying they've literally heard young men leaving the Smith mansion in total distress, their cries echoing through the night. Like, what in the world is going on in that house?
His corny, overbooked was not built to be able to maintain the swag of a Baltimore.
That is true.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. All this weird stuff between Will and Jaden, apparently it might trace back to the legendary Quincy Jones. And let me tell you, this man has seen everything in Hollywood. Quincy's never been shy about spilling Hollywood's dirtiest secrets, and in this absolutely jaw-dropping interview with Vulture, he just let it all out. He exposed that huge names like James Baldwin, Richard Pryor, and Marvin Gaye were queer. And when it came to Marlon Brando, oh my God, he said, he was the most charming MF you ever met. He'd F anything, he'd F a mailbox. But wait, it gets even crazier. Someone came forward saying that when Tupac first hit Hollywood, Quincy was allegedly setting up these bizarre rituals and scenarios that Tupac was forced to participate in. They're even saying Quincy tried to convince Tupac to get intimate with him.
He was asked by Quincy Jones when Tupac said no, that's when Tupac was marked for death. Why? Because Tupac was engaged to Quincy Jones's daughter.
And just when you thought the drama couldn't get any more intense, enter Alexis Arquette. She dropped this absolute bombshell about Will's first wife, Cherie Zampino, claiming she divorced Will after catching him in a very compromising position with another man. Alexis spilled the tea saying, "When Jada comes out as gay and her beard husband admits his first marriage ended when she walked into him servicing his sugar daddy Benny Medina, then I will listen to them." And in the comments, she clarified, first wife paid off silent, she being his. Now get this, Jada, who's usually all about speaking up, remember that Oscar boycott drama, suddenly had nothing to say. Will stayed totally silent too, but Cherie, oh honey, she went off. She came for Alexis, saying her comments were vindictive and that Will is definitely not queer. But here's the thing, fans thought Cherie's reaction was a little too intense, like, why not just laugh it off if it's so ridiculous?
Not only is it out of line, it's absolutely not true. And I'm offended and I'm hurt.
The way Cherie responded had people raising their eyebrows. Instead of just dismissing it as nonsense, she got super defensive, making some wonder if Alexis might have hit a nerve. And these rumors about Jada's sexuality, they just won't die. Plus, that bromance between Will and Dwayne, people are starting to think there might be more to it than just friendship.
Yo, am I the only one that saw this? Watch Will. Titty grab. Then he grabs his Will is Carlton on television. Titty grab again, then the face, and now he's gonna grab his titty.
But hold up, because there's another player in this game, Diddy. Just like Will, he's been dealing with his own rumors about his sexuality for years. One particularly disturbing rumor involves this special circle in his entourage where he allegedly introduces young musicians to some very questionable practices. It's seriously unsettling.
Now that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's.
Now, nobody's confirmed anything about Will Smith being involved with any of these people, but the rumors just keep swirling. And Jim Carrey, he had some thoughts about that Oscar slap. He said it came out of nowhere because Will's got some serious inner frustration going on. In Jim's words, "I wish him the best. I have nothing against Will Smith. He's done great things, but that was not a good moment. It cast a shadow over everyone's shining moment last night. It was a selfish moment." This revelation had everyone talking. One person wrote, "People assume that a celebrity wife doesn't know that her husband is gay and that he is on the DL, but I feel that in most cases the wife wife knows is gay herself, which then makes an agreement to enter into a lavender marriage for business reasons. They even listed couples like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban, and Jay-Z and Beyonce. Another person added, "It all makes sense because if their marriage has been done for the past 10 to 15 years, then him being gay might be a reason why." And she knows she has to protect the bag, so she's definitely not going to say anything during those times. But now she's kind of hinting it because she knows she still wants that bag for the future, so she doesn't want to mess that up. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye. Then